Want to learn how to make Jim Lahey's famous no-knead loaf of bread? I got you.
This is definitely a beginner's recipe, so no need to be an expert. And as a no-knead recipe, there's no need to get your hands dirty. And as you saw before, this will produce a nice round, crusty, rustic loaf of bread. Let's get to it. The first thing you'll need is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Bread flour works too. Then 1.5 cups of room temperature water. For the water and flour, you really can just measure these by volume. No need for a scale. Then 1.25 teaspoons of salt. I used kosher salt. And then just a 1/4 teaspoon, really small amount, of yeast. Make sure you use instant yeast for this recipe instead of active dry yeast. I actually use SAF instant yeast in my Fleischmann's yeast container because I have 0 brand loyalty. To mix the dough, I like to put the water in the mixing bowl first. Next, add the yeast. So grab your 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon, and then add the yeast right into the water. Stir it around a few times with a spoon or spatula, just to dissolve the yeast. Then it should start smelling really yeasty, because it's yeast. Then add the 3 cups of flour right into the water mixture, and then the salt right on top of that. Now just mix everything thoroughly until all the dry bits of flour are gone. When this finally comes together to form a dough, which you'll see in just a few seconds, you're actually going to cover this up and let it rest on your counter for at least 12 hours. I usually let it go overnight. This might seem like a long time, but we really require a long rest period for a no-knead bread. Since we're not kneading the dough and forming gluten that way, we need some other way for gluten to form. And this long rest period just magically forms gluten in the dough. That's the magic of the no-knead bread. Once all those dry bits are gone, cover up the bowl with some plastic wrap or a kitchen towel. We're just trying to avoid air getting into the dough and drying it out. Now go find a place to let this rest for 12 to 20 hours. But first look at your dough, because this is totally going to transform in the next 12 hours. It's going to become light and puffy and fill up the bowl, and it's going to be pillowy, and I'm going to put it on the shelf now. Okay, so my bread has literally been rising for 19 hours, and this is how it looks now. Totally transformed. Super bubbly, really puffy, and a little bit jiggly in the bowl. This is what we're looking for on a 12 to 20 hour rise. So now it's time to shape the dough into a ball. Start by putting some flour on your counter so the dough has a place to rest. Then I'll show you how to take it out of the bowl. Take your hand and grab one edge of the dough. Pull it over the center. Then take the next edge and pull that over the center too. Keep going around the bowl, grabbing an edge of the dough at a time, until all of the edges have been pulled into the center. Now grab the dough from underneath and transfer it onto the floured surface. Now you're going to give the dough its final shape. Think of the dough as having 4 sides. Pull the top side over the center, then take the left side, pull it over that, then grab the bottom side, pull it over the center as well, and then there's one side left, pull that over the top. Now that the flour is magically out of the way, flip the dough over so the smooth side's on top. Then just kind of round out some of those rough edges so you have a nice round dough ball. I usually bake on parchment paper, but today all I had was super shiny tin foil, so that's what we have. Put some flour onto this so the dough doesn't stick to it as much. Then carefully put the dough ball right on top. We're going to cover this up with a kitchen towel and let the dough rest for 1 hour. Preheat your oven as hot as it'll go. Mine goes to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. We need to bake this bread in a Dutch oven or some kind of oven-safe pot with a lid. Whatever you have, put that in the oven to preheat, and then in an hour, we'll be ready to bake the bread. It's been an hour, so my Dutch oven is piping hot, and my dough is ready to transfer into the Dutch oven. It should be a little puffier than last time. Give it a feel. Then carefully transfer this into the Dutch oven without burning your hands. So, this bread is simple. I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to score it with a sharp knife. I'm just going to put the lid of the Dutch oven on and then transfer this into the oven to bake for 30 minutes at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. When 30 minutes is up, go ahead and take the lid off of your Dutch oven and admire your bread. Let's see what we got. Oh, I busted open on the top. It's nice and crusty. I'm actually going to keep this baking at 500 degrees with the lid off, just to get some nice brown color on the top of the bread. And here's our final loaf of bread. This baby might not win any beauty contests, but I seriously think this is one of the easiest and tastiest loaves of bread you can possibly make at home. Make sure you let this rest for at least an hour before cutting in and devouring. Thanks so much for watching this video about Jim Lahey's no-knead bread. It's definitely a popular bread recipe for a reason. Just look at that. I'm about to go make some avocado toast. Like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more bread videos, and enjoy this butter shot.